Hey YouTube, it's Victoria Adriana. Welcome back to my channel. Get realigned with me today as we talk about living intentionally and how that relates to holistic wellness and how it can help you transform your life. One way that I view life is that life is a series of decision making. From the time we open our eyes to the time we close them, all day long we're making decisions. And when we choose to live intentionally, we take more time in making those decisions and stop navigating in a way that doesn't really serve our highest purpose. In short, it's all about living with awareness so that our life begins to reflect what's meaningful to us. So today I'm going to share 5 ways that you can live intentionally. There are many. My first tip for intentional living is intentional consumption. A lot of times consumption is solely focused on food and like what we're literally taking into our body. But when we approach intentional consumption, it starts with recognizing that we consume in many ways. It's the things we watch on TV, the music we listen to, the people we converse with. It's not just about what we eat, but what we're consuming mentally and emotionally as well that impacts us. It can help to limit things that have a negative impact on our energy. This means a lot of like negative TV programs. I've been getting into a lot of shows that I haven't watched over the years, because there was a point in time where I probably didn't watch TV for like 2 or 3 years, honestly. Like I did not keep up with shows or anything that was going on. So like in the past year, I've been catching up on things, and a lot of the things are very, I don't really want to use the word traumatic, but I've been watching things like Game of Thrones, like the whole entire series. I watched like the whole series of The Wire, all of the power shows and all that stuff. Like consuming a lot of that can be really, really harsh on our spirits. So I have movies that are like comforting to me and shows that are comforting to me. But my top thing where I know, like, if I'm feeling defeated, if I'm feeling heartbroken, if I'm feeling sad and I just don't want to consume the wrong thing, that's when I get really intentional about what I'm watching. I always go to Eat, Pray, Love. Eat, Pray, Love is my favorite movie. Definitely recommend that movie if for some reason you haven't seen it and you're looking for like to build a list of like comforting things to watch. Eat, Pray, Love is at the top for me. To counteract all of the negative things in the media, we can intentionally choose to surround ourselves with uplifting content. Me personally, I like to manage this through my Instagram page. I do spend a lot of time scrolling on Instagram, so I am very conscious of who I follow and what type of accounts I engage with. So I intentionally follow things that inspire me, follow things that contribute to my knowledge on holistic wellness. And if I feel the need to engage with things like the Shade Room or things that are not as positive, and I go to that page directly, I don't follow it. So that means that they can't notify me with their content, or they can't just throw their content at me and I'm just subject to have to consume it. Because I know a lot of us use social media, and even if we only just use YouTube, that's also just being mindful about who we subscribe to on YouTube. It's just make sure that it's people that inspire you and that uplift you, and not things that make you feel just like not good. A second tip I have for you when it comes to intentional living is to cook at home. It might be the toughest just because we're in a world also that makes not cooking at home very easy. We got DoorDash, Grubhub, Caviar, all types of apps that you can just order food, have it delivered to you from anywhere. We have fast food drive-thrus. When I first started to change my diet, it felt like I was in a video game almost, trying to get over obstacles. Like, wow, I'm starving right now, I'm hungry, I had a long day, but I have to be mindful of what I eat. And so on my way to Whole Foods, I would pass McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, pizza places, every place you can think of, that it would be so easy for me to just stop and get food. But I'm like, no, I have to be mindful about what I put into my body. It can be very, very hard. But the importance of cooking at home is that you get to control the ingredients that go into your food, and the things that you eat impact just about every aspect of you holistically. That's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. When you cook at home, no like added chemicals or any surprise allergens or anything of the sort. You know who made the food and what type of energy was put into it. So I'm eating to nourish my body. I'm eating to feed myself love. I'm eating something that I created. It's just kind of like it's one of my favorite things. I get happy when I cook because it's just like my creative process, you know, like I see like a bunch of ingredients and I turn it into this delicious meal, and that makes me feel great internally, like wow, like I did that and it's fire and it's delicious. My man loves it, I love it, my family loves it. I love cooking for people, I love cooking for myself. If I am just having a rough time, I'll notice it's been like, wow, I haven't been cooking. We've been ordering out, which that has happened, especially like more so recently, because you know, me and my fiance, we run a business. It can be hard to like be home and cook, but I have realigned myself to make sure that I'm home more and able to cook and have meals planned, so we're not ordering out as much. And I have felt such a shift in such a positive shift in my energy. It really helps me feel more connected to my body and more centered and just more ready to do the things that I need to do. So I say all of this to say I am a big advocate for cooking at home. Even if it's something small and like simple meals, you can make some rice, some veggies, and protein of your choice. You can make a salad, you can make a bowl of oatmeal. It should start with one meal at a time and go from there. You can look into YouTube videos of cooking, Instagram accounts, like back to the mindful consumption. You can start following more food pages and watching more people who cook to get inspiration of what to make for yourself and what to make for your family. Third tip for living intentionally is to start and end your day with intention. And I picked those 2 points because not everyone has time to just make their whole life revolve around self-care. So it can start in the very like most minimal ways. It can be 2 minutes of your day, or it can be 2 hours at the start of your day. As long as you set that intention that I'm taking this time, which is much more impactful for you than just kind of like starting your day and not being in control of it. And this is a conversation I had with my fiance earlier, is that you want to try to be more conscious with the way that you start your day. Are you starting your day, you're picking up your phone, you're on Instagram, and you got that endless feed where you're scrolling through things, and then boom, things are feeding your mind. Or you know, you wake up and you're not in a great mood, and the first thing you do is get into a long text message conversation with someone. And while that conversation may be important, it might not be the first thing you want to choose first. You want to start your day off like, today, this is how I want to feel, this is what I want to accomplish. Now once you get through your day, all the things have happened, and many times things that are not in our control, like we may set our intentions to have a calm day and then end up having a chaotic day. It's back into our control when it comes to how we end our day. And one piece of advice or like quote that I always remember is that you want to wash your day away before you get into the bed. That means shower. If you're into like Reiki or like energy healing, like energetically cleanse before you get into the bed, so that way you're not taking all of the weight from the day with you and going to sleep with it. And I know that's something that a lot of people do, and not only do they go to sleep with it, but then they do it day after day after day, and it's basically like your bed is absorbing all that energy. So all the things you went through in the past 7 days, you're just jumping right back into it and piling up. And then a lot of times people don't understand. It's like, why do I have insomnia? Why can't I sleep? I keep waking up in the middle of the night. We're not winding down properly, and we're not cleansing our energy properly and really going to sleep with intention. If we learn how to do that, not to say like that will cure your insomnia by any point, like I'm not a doctor. Everyone has, you know, everyone's body is different, everyone's mind is different, but that can help a lot, is just to be more intentional of how you end your day with an evening routine. So some tips for ending the day. Sometimes if I feel like I have a lot going on, I like to end the day with like I said, always a shower, especially if I was outside of the house and like interacting with a lot of people. I gotta take a shower before I get into the bed. Warm cup of tea. Like one thing I love is that like if I was like working at night or something, my fiance would have a warm cup of tea ready for me when I came home, and that would just help me wind down and relax so much. You can practice gratitude, you can journal, and you know, just write a quick list of things that you're grateful for. and just reflect on those things and let that be one of the last things you have on your mind before you get into bed. It's also good to limit screen time. This is something that I do with my nieces and nephews because they're really young, and just I want to try to instill like, you know, good habits in them. So whenever I'm with them at night, I have to say this is every night, but whenever I'm with them at night, I'm like, okay, like now it's time to turn the iPads off, turn the phones off, turn the game off, and give your mind a break. Like, and then they understand like the difference. Okay, like my mind got to like wind down. When it comes to morning routines, things have been changing a lot for me. Like I used to be, like I said, like in my last video, like I was doing the self-care Olympics. Everything about my life was focused on self-care. Used to wake up in the morning and pray, meditate, stretch, sit in the sun, make warm tea, make myself breakfast, make myself a fresh pressed juice, all that. Now that's not it. I'm in the process of this now, actually, just realigning of like, what does a good morning routine look like for me? Lately for me, that's been like reading things that are positive. I like to like read certain stories. One website I really like, it's called The Lion's Roar. I'll take this time to like jot down creative ideas I have that I want to implement for myself, because I do a lot of creative work for other people, and sometimes the things I want to do for myself can get lost in that. So I make the mornings like my time. Like before I jump into thinking for work or thinking for like other creative platforms, I think about the things I want to do for myself creatively, how I want to help my brand grow. Very simple. Often I do cook in the morning just because that's just a natural thing for me to do. As far as nighttime, yes, things I used to do is like stretch, take a long bath, meditate, journal, light a candle, all of the things. Lately it's been more so just like taking a really good shower, putting my body oil on, and just relaxing. So the fourth tip I have for intentional living is intentional self-talk and how we communicate with ourselves, because sometimes we could be really harsh on ourselves, like mentally. Like it's so easy to just have like negative thoughts about ourselves, just kind of like on autopilot. So like it's just important to be mindful of how we think, the thoughts that we have, and how we talk to ourselves. Another thing about self-talk that really has really shifted my life for me is being mindful of what you own verbally, right? This is basically like when I was 13, I was diagnosed with an illness, right? So like since the age of 13 until I was about probably like 28, 29, it was always like, I have this disease and I'm sick, all of the negative things. And that is just kind of like almost like putting a negative spell on yourself, you know? Like if you say you have something and you own it and it's a part of you, it just grows and grows and grows and it stays a part of you. So I don't say that in order for you to just be like, you know, completely like detached from like what's happening to you. Instead of saying like I have a disease, I can say, you know, like right now I'm dealing with the symptoms of this disease, and like I'm dealing with the pain of this disease, and basically not saying like I'm in pain or like, you know, I have pain, but I'm dealing with the pain, I'm experiencing the pain, and then that's something that will pass. Like experiences will pass. One thing that I started implementing is like a very powerful affirmation. If you're someone who has been faced with autoimmune illness or something of this sort, a powerful affirmation that you could say to yourself in your process of healing is, I'm healing with energy, right? So that means I'm using all of the good energy to heal my body, and instead of, like I said, like instead of saying I'm sick, you can say I'm healing. That shapes the energy around you to just be more uplifting and more positive to your situation. Another example I could use is that a lot of times when people are low on money, they'll say I'm broke. That's something you don't want to say. The thing to say is, my money is just not where I want it to be right now. You don't want to put that spell on yourself that you're broke, because your aura is gonna feel like, okay, I'm broke, that's what it is, I'm gonna keep being broke. Or it's just being mindful of like when you're in a negative situation or you're facing negative circumstances, to not own those things. So the fifth and final way when it comes to living intentionally is to do the things that you always do with intention. That's probably the starting point when you want to get into living more intentionally in your life. So I was definitely someone who struggled with meditation for sure, and it was frustrating to me because that's kind of what everything, all the holistic wellness websites and advice was advising me to do as someone who was trying to heal from an illness, is like start practicing meditation, and I'm like, I can't do it. But then I read a book called Pieces Every Step, and that focused on methods of meditation and what meditation actually is. So the way that book described it is that meditation is basically like connecting your mind and body by focusing on your breathing, because breathing is one thing that we do all the time. We have to do it. It sustains our life, but we're often like breathing and making a YouTube video, or we're breathing and driving, or we're breathing and cooking, or we might be breathing and driving and thinking about what we're gonna do at work, or always doing multiple things at once. But if we can just sit in a position and breathe and think about breathing, and think about the actual motion of breathing, like I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. If we do that for just 2 minutes a day, that can make such a change in our life. Just intentional self-care practices, whatever that looks like to you, I highly recommend just a short breathing practice. Literally, if it's only for 60 seconds, you'll feel a difference in your body, you'll feel a difference in your emotions, in your mind. So if you made it this far into the video, first of all, thank you. But let me know in the comments, what are some ways that you live intentionally, or what are some ways that you plan on living intentionally? And if you found this video to be helpful, be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.